Good evening and welcome to the LaRouche Organization Weekly Battle Report. Today is Wednesday, May 14th. I'm Michelle Aaron, your host. We are at an incredible transformative moment for the world, for mankind. Important nodal points in the transition include last week's 80th anniversary commemoration of the end of World War II, the victory over fascism in Europe, including weekend celebrations in Moscow where leaders of 29 nations gathered and all sorts of meetings between nations were held. A future nodal point is tomorrow's negotiations in Istanbul, Turkey, between Russia and Ukraine, as the countries resume direct talks to discuss ceasefire and negotiations to permanently end the war between Russia and Ukraine. Another major nodal point will be the June 2nd to 4th conference at the United Nations in New York City on the two-state mandate for Gaza and a reconstruction plan for the region. Gaza's humanitarian situation is becoming harder to keep quiet about. Proceedings yesterday at the UN Security Council saw forceful presentations from ambassadors, the World Health Organization, and the Food and Agriculture Organization, and an especially powerful presentation from Tom Fletcher, the UN head of humanitarian affairs, who spoke that genocide is being committed in Gaza. He said efforts to sidestep the UN humanitarian structures to deliver aid via private contractors is a cynical sideshow, a fig leaf for further violence and displacement, and it makes starvation a bargaining chip. Fletcher charges that Israel denies access to UN organizations, placing the objective of depopulating Gaza before the lives of civilians. He said the International Court of Justice is now considering whether genocide is taking place and will weigh the testimony, but it will be too late. The LaRouche Oasis Plan approach of physical economic development for Israel, for Palestine, and connecting through the entire region and world is essential. In mobilizing towards that June 2nd to 4th UN conference, as well as addressing other major points of crisis and opportunity for mankind, is the Schiller Institute Memorial Day Weekend Conference. We go immediately to two statements to help elaborate the importance of this conference taking place in the United States. If you, the viewer, are in any possible position to attend this conference in person, sign up right now. It's in the New York City metropolitan area. In-person registration closes this Saturday, the 17th, and it's completely different to be there in person and really participate in the dialogue. First, we have Kynan Thistlethwaite, a young activist who will also present on panel 4 of the conference. Then Alvin Rodriguez, an extremely committed long-term activist in the Bronx, Manhattan, New York area, with his thoughts and the invitation that you might come and be with him there.
Hi everyone, this is Kynan Thistlethwaite here with the Schiller Institute. I've been a member of the organization for about 6 years now, since I was 17 years old, and I'm really excited about this conference that we'll be holding on May 24th to 25th, Memorial Day weekend. This will be in the New York metropolitan area, and the title will be A Beautiful Vision for Humanity in Times of Great Turbulence. I don't think it's hyperbole to say that we're living in a very historical moment in history. There's all kinds of turbulence in the world, all kinds of chaos. And we need to play the role of world citizens, of not just sitting back on the sidelines and spectating, but actually playing a direct role in changing the strategic orientation of this country and in dialogue with other countries of the world. You know, the global south, in particular, the BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, have ushered in a new era, which is completely different from the axioms that have dominated the world, at least you could say since the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, where we had the rules-based order of sanctions, of hegemony, of endless wars, and the nations of the global south are tired of it. And they're calling on the citizens of the United States, of Western Europe, to engage with them in cooperation, in harmonious economic development. And that, given that it's the 250th anniversary of the United States, that is our traditional policy, as spoken of by great leaders like John Quincy Adams, George Washington in his farewell address, and Abraham Lincoln. And we've really, we've gone towards a bad direction, but it's not too late. I think we can play a leading role in reviving these principles. And that's what this conference is going to be. It's going to be a discussion on the principles which founded this country, and we'll be hearing from many great leaders of the world, people like Her Excellency Naledi Pandor, who was the former international minister of South Africa, and she played a leading role in denouncing the genocide that is going on in Palestine, this horrific genocide, which we see all the time on our smartphones, on our computers, and we really can't look away from it. She is a leading voice of the global south. She's an incredibly important figure in history. Helga has engaged in many different dialogues with her on our platforms, the International Peace Coalition, have great American voices of diplomacy, people like Ambassador Jack Matlock, who was the U.S. ambassador to Russia from 1987 to 1991, who actually witnessed the promise that was made to Gorbachev that we would not expand NATO 1 inch eastwards towards Russia's borders. Of course, that promise has been broken a dozen times over. And it's probably the main reason that we have this terrible war in Ukraine. So we need to actually recognize history and change the direction that we've gone towards. So besides, the speakers who will be on our first panel, we'll have the Schiller Institute chorus will be presenting Bach's great motet Jesu meine Freude, which they've studied for many years, which Lyndon LaRouche encouraged them to do. It should be a wonderful performance. We'll also have international performances. So there's something for everyone in this conference. I think whether you are a musician, whether you're a scientist, whether you're a student, whether you're into politics or not, you should come to this, and you will be shocked by what you see. And I think you'll be uplifted. And that's what I have to say. I really hope to see you all. I should mention that I and my friends who are members of the organization will be presenting at the 5th panel of the conference, which will be on May 25th, on Earth's Next 50 Years, and the role that the youth have to play in building this new security and development architecture among nations. So I hope you'll be there for that. And yeah, I mean, I hope to see you there. This is going to be really wonderful.
Good afternoon, Rodriguez. And am happy to know that another international conference, the first, I believe, in quite a number of years, is taking place on Memorial Day weekend. Now, regardless of one's political stripe or spectrum or background, whether you've been very political in the past or not at all political, one thing we can all agree upon, despite all of our disagreements, you would call them, is that things are not well. War, the economy, education, healthcare, all of these things are in disarray and collapse. And particularly the political system. It's all collapsing. That's why this conference this weekend takes on a crucial importance. Let Helga's keynote address help shape both the strategic situation and the happy alternatives that lie before us, should we choose to make them happen. It's a long conference. It's very intense. Some people won't get through the entire thing. That's okay. Look at the program. Determine which panel you want to be a part of. You can always get to the others later. The threat of danger is real, but the solutions are knowable. And for decades now, Helga LaRouche and the Schiller Institute have laid out what those solutions are and show you how many of these solutions are actually being adopted. Many of these programs are being adopted throughout most of the world, something you probably didn't know. So I hope to see you all there in one way or another, and invite everyone you know. Bye.
Thank you, Kynan and Alvin. Looking forward to seeing you at the conference. We have one item of LaRouche in the news. LaRouche movement member Doug Mallouk from Catonsville, Maryland, last week submitted a letter to the editor and was published in his local Baltimore Sun newspaper in the opinions section. It was posted both on their online, but also in the 125,000 copy Sunday print edition, where the article was placed in the most prominent space on the page, the one usually reserved for editorials by the Sun's own staff. We're sharing this article to inspire you, the audience, to send in your own letters to the editor to every publication you can think of, big or small. Flood the zone with the good. So Doug's article, titled "Trump Got His World War II History Wrong," highlighted the irony that the small army of Trump fact-checkers who normally raise the roof at even the tiniest inaccuracy attributable to the president said zip zero nada when he uttered the mother of all World War II whoppers, namely that the lead role by far in defeating Hitler and company was played by America, leaving the Soviet role totally unmentioned. The piece makes clear that this is no mere academic distortion of history, but directly connected to the completely fake narrative on today's Russia-Ukraine conflict promulgated by many of the Trump watchers themselves. He says in the article, "Back then, we supported Russia against Nazis. Today, for ugly geopolitical reasons, we've switched historic sides." Be like Doug. Send in your letters to the editor to your local newspapers. Now we are happy to go to Boston, one of many locations around the world where last weekend members of the Schiller Institute and LaRouche movement participated in commemorations of VE Day. This event was an Immortal Regiment march to commemorate those who served in World War II, to immortalize them so they will not be forgotten. Participants carry the photographs of their family members who had served. A strong tradition in Russia, marches are also held around the world. We will have a report from Kevin Pearl, then a clip of some of the Boston Schiller Institute chorus backing up a lead singer in Dien Pobyedy, or Victory Day, which is one of the most famous World War II songs in Russia. And you'll hear the crowd singing, jumping in to sing, which is wonderful.
Hi, this is Kevin Pearl at Natick Common for the Immortal Regiment in 2025. We've got a group here from the Schiller Institute Chorus. We're going to sing a Russian song celebrating victory over fascism, along with the Battle Hymn of the Republic. We're proud to be here. Most of the folks here are Russians, but not everyone. The Immortal Regiment is held every year to celebrate the victory over the Nazis. I have a t-shirt from one of the past years here too. Which, not speaking Russian, I should tell you, I'm told it says Immortal Regiment. I believe it. Thanks.
Как он был от нас далек, как в костре потухшем таял уголек. Были версты обгорелые в пыли, этот день мы приближали как могли, этот день победы. Ох, он пропал, это праздник, светлая войска, со слезами на глазах. День Победы, День Победы, День Победы. Печей не светлаешь, Родина очей. Дни и ночи битву трудную вели, этот день мы приближали как могли, этот день победы. Ох, он прав, это праздник, сединой на висках, со слезами на глазах. День Победы, День Победы, День Победы.
Beautiful. The world is not fixed in a particular geometry. The world is in the midst of a profound transition. Take Russia-Ukraine. When Vladimir Zelensky now says that he and Ukraine are doing a great job of leading peace, and he challenges Putin to also be interested in peace, he's showing a recognition that the conditions do not exist that Ukraine can continue in its present mode. Ukraine must change. Activists continue to demonstrate for a solution to the crisis in Gaza and Palestine. We don't yet know how President Trump's visit to Saudi Arabia may affect U.S. policy towards Israel. We do know that a significant conference on the issue will take place at the United Nations on June 2nd through 4th. China, Brazil, the BRICS nations, and many others in the global south continue to move forward in the mode of cooperation and development. Most important for our consideration here is what we, each of us, as individuals, and as the LaRouche movement, may do to more effectively intervene into the whole process. The Schiller Institute Memorial Day Weekend Conference will be the best opportunity to take in incredible presentations to strengthen our minds, our souls, and our camaraderie as the leadership body to propose and bring into existence ideas and solutions for the betterment of mankind. We hope to see you in person at the Schiller Institute conference. You can register at schillerinstitute.com and someone will very quickly get back to you with more details about the event. Thank you for tuning in this evening. We will see you